You are watching Liberty Online TV.
This is Liberty Online TV powered by Orange Sierra Leone. Orange. This is Liberty Online TV powered by Orange Sierra Leone. Orange.
So today, my name is Princess Pias, and inside this special hour, this hour we come out from the Ministry of Finance as we can look at the discussion on the accountable governance for basic service delivery project under the Ministry of Finance. Well, this morning we get to studio guests them. We come under the ministry from various departments where they can talk about this particular project with me this morning. We then therefore can tell you some of the team how this project will go and everything we do with me this morning. But first, I will start with Paul James Allen, if I'm correct. Well, that's not the Director General, the Deputy Director General, National Monitoring and Evaluation Agency, where they are with me this morning. For can talk more about this project. Good morning and welcome to Liberty Online Television.
Good morning. Good morning.
And same way, so I get with me at the studio, Silvanos Conte, we are the project engineer. Instead, they can talk about how this project are. Good morning and welcome to the Liberty Online Television.
Good morning, Fambulem.
And
also for represents the project, the PMU, and the project coordinator himself.
Okay, same way, so I get with me Abdullah Samura, we in the Assistant Director, Internal Audit Directorate, na the Ministry of Finance. Instead, there for can tell we all thing, but how the internal audit system done the work and what themselves done they do for these projects. Good morning and welcome to the Liberty Online Television.
Good morning, listeners and viewers.
Okay, the program still continue. Like I said, viewers, this is a special edition where they come out from the Ministry of Finance as we can look at today's on topic. They look at the discussion on the accountable governance for basic service delivery project under the Ministry of Finance. Well, within these projects they bought and all thing now want to where you go come for Kanu. Well, I will start first for introduce Paul James Allen, we now the Deputy Director General for the accountable for the National Monitoring and Evaluation Agency, we at the Ministry of Finance, well, therefore can talk about this project. So firstly, Mr. Allen, what is the mandate of this particular National Monitoring and Evaluation Agency?
Thank you very much. Thank you for giving us the opportunity for talk about NAMIA and then the project specifically. So NAMIA started as NAMED, as a directorate under the Ministry of Planning and Economic Development. Eventually, we are moved to the Office of the President, and as I speak, we are under the Office of the President. But of course, we collaborate with other MDAs on things related to accountability, monitoring, evaluation. So in this specific case, we are working with the Ministry of Finance on the accountable governance for basic service delivery. We basically try to see how services that they go run from the national level to the sub-national level up to the last mile.
Okay, so what's in our role in implementing this particular project?
So we the lead or what's call component 3, we deal with data accountability and monitoring and reporting. So we all know how government invests so much money for service delivery. In this case, specifically to education and the health sector. So, for instance, we know the government through the Ministry of Basic and Senior Service, Senior Secondary School Education, they provide textbook and learning and teaching materials. Through the Ministry of Health, they provide medical equipment and supply to hospitals. So we know also data are very important to monitor how the services they reach the people that are the last mile. So component 3, they deal with that. Specifically, we provide technical support to the two ministries, to the local councils. We try for create systems that we will able to track and monitor how the services they go from the national level to the last mile. For instance, the hospitals and at the chiefdom or the district level, or the primary schools, the schools and at the chiefdom or the district level. So basically, we did for creating systems and for ensure that the service they reach the people.
Okay, well, continue for the with me on the program this morning. Viewers, this program we watch a special edition where they come out from the Ministry of Finance. And we look at the discussion on the accountable governance for basic service delivery projects under the Ministry of Finance. We all can learn more about this project, how they work. Now, over to you, Mr. Silvanus. You just already where Mr. Allen don't talk about this particular project, waiting at their role in this particular project for ensure say the implementation be smooth. So same way as the project engineer, just tell us more about this project and say what you don't they do for ensure say the implementation of this project it come out fine.
Thank you very much, Madam Moderator. This project is a brief overview. It's a World Bank project grants to the government of Sierra Leone based on certain agreements related to environmental and social considerations. But basically, the main objective is to be able to manage resources well, resource management, transparency and accountability in our local government systems, for good delivery to the people and good development of local development in those local communities. And then this project is granted $40 million to be implemented within the period of 5 to 6 years. And then effectively it started February 2022. Hopefully it should be ending by 2027, July thereabout.
So look, you just make mention about grants we get for do with 40 million grants, and this don't start inside February 2022. Yeah. So from that 10 day to now, let's look at the enrollment process. We first from the director, we talk about one of the components, component 3, where they deal with data management, the platform where they create. This project generally has 3 other components. The first component looks at systems and services, which is focused towards capacity building of these councils we are talking about, 15 councils targeted. The systems to be strengthened and the personnel themselves. For instance, the fiduciary staff will be empowered to manage the resources that will be provided. And the second aspect of the project, which is component 2, is the grant system, whereby the project release grants to these councils for development. And I think that from that point your question come directly, because this cash they go, round 1, we made a disbursement to support local development, and round 2 we'll be doing another disbursement. So far in round 1, the disbursement we do about 1.6 million, whereby we are able to, improve 29 physical structures within the 15 local district councils. So you talk about the 4 components name of the project, because I just want to read quick for viewers the way they follow this program. Let's just take you through the components. Then the component they talk about the 4 components of this project. They talk 1, they say systems and skills development, where these components they cover 2, local development financing, 3, integrated data management platform, 4, project management and implementation. So then projects there so now don't fully be effective. So far waiting now the intervention since then one year so now don't enroll then 4 components here.
Yes, I think I just begin for give that, and then the director say we targeted 29 sub-projects in round 1 when we started. Most of them very impressive outcomes we were very okay with. Even though it was the first year of the implementation, it's very good. Those are tangibles people can go to the communities and see.
Okay.
Like we had at least 2 physical structures in like 14 district councils, and I think it was that did 1 community hall. So these are like physical deliverables post can go in Sinani community since we started.
So from scale 1 to 10, the ministry glad is so far with the implementation process of the component and part of the project?
Certainly, the ministry is the one implementing. So I think I would say the bank for glad because for look at my and say, well, the money go the right way, and that is very true.
Okay, well, that voice that we just don't listen to na Silvanus Conte, we na the project engineer, accountable governance projects. As part of this discussion, they look at the accountable governance for basic service delivery projects under the Ministry of Finance. Continue for follow the program, like we page, share, and save comments at the comment section for contribute to this particular discussion with the car of this program we fully supported by the Ministry of Finance. Well, with me still at the studio, like what say viewers them, we get 3 guests them we come on at the Ministry of Finance from different departments them for can tell we purposely about this particular project. So with me na the studio as well, I get Abdullah Samura, we na the assistant director, internal audit director, it's na the Ministry of Finance. Instead they are for can talk about their role as the internal audits than this particular project. Good morning once more and welcome to Liberty Online Television.
Good morning, listeners.
So you just all listen from you 2 colleagues them with they don't talk towards this project and on only part of this project. So firstly, waiting at the mandate of the internal audit na the Ministry of Finance.
Thank you for the question. Internal audit at the Ministry of Finance was legally recognized in 2005 when the GBAA, when the Government Budgeting Accountability Act came into being. Until it was repealed by the PFM Act when the current 2016 PFM Act will get. If you go inside the PFM Act, now section 75 subsection 1, they will tell you say the Director of Internal Audit at the Ministry of Finance get the power and the rights for consults with other ministries, departments and agencies for letting establish internal audit units and the MDs. If you go around at some ministries, department, we cover about 48 to 50 now. MDs the way the internal auditors the way they did. Now we post them there. So inside section 75, also subsection 2, continue for extend we mandate. We say as internal auditors we get right for ensure say the controls them way they na their MDs and they are strictly followed. If you ask me what controls are the policies and procedures where the MDs and they put in place for ensure say they achieve their objectives. And so one of the role and we mandates and for follow up and then controls and for make sure say the MDs are followed. And also we carry about budgets. One of the other mandates are for monitor how the MDs and they execute their budgets. You know, the annual budget. The budget now they put the annual activities and how they get for spend throughout the year. So now we write for monitor but make sure say they follow them controls they were talk about area for carry on and expend the budget. Another mandate to get have also carry out audits now all the different areas. Of course we know say the MDs and they get different departments including the local councils, and their procurement, and their accounting department, all they carry on activities there. And now we write as internal auditor but make sure say there is transparency and accountability in carrying out all the activity there.
So from what you don't make mention now, the role of the internal audit now, Ministry of Finance, especially council MDs, them auditing their budget. So we in line with what they do, if their MDs then they don't follow the procedures of the Ministry of Finance, what can be the ministry in action?
Well then it comes to another. It comes to another mandate also gets inside section 76 subsection 1. We say the Director of Internal Audit he require also vote controllers of the MDs, local councils and other public enterprise for form audit committee. So back to the question, you say we not go right. Now we could carry out audits in all areas and after we carry out audits, we produce report. Then the reports we send out. We get 2 types of reporting. We get functional reporting. That will send the report to the audit committee for local. And the audit committee comprises of independent members. We get power for take action should in case the MDs do not follow procedure. Then we also get the administrative reporting. Then they go to the vote controller then. because you know the audit person, you not tell her what you find out. So then there comes now the power of the audit committee for follow up with them and vote controller and for say, okay, the auditors don't carry out audit. Now then findings here and find what's in our say, what's in our response. You understand? Relating to implementing the recommendation that we the auditor and profile.
Okay, so now back to the project we get for do with the accountable governance for basic service delivery project. Now, as the internal audit na the Ministry of Finance, waiting so far don't be on a role in terms of the implementation process from where this project starts in like 2020, when February.
Okay, thank you. That's a good question. The gentleman from the project, Mr. Conte, talk about the 4 components. We then are component 1. Okay. We are systems and skills for local service delivery. Yeah. So we there for build capacity of we staff them, and the project is more concentrated in local councils. So of late, we just come up from a training we will train with internal auditors because now we have to arm them. You understand? But make sure so they get they are capacity, well capacitated, they get the ability for carry out audits. You understand? We will bring out transparency and accountability. And also, as we talk, we don't establish. I talked about audit committees earlier. All the 22 local councils now have established audit committees, and we made up of independent members. These are members outside local councils. So you will find out, say, now the morale of the internal auditors and don't cow. Because the thing we used to for the happen before is that those guys they do their reports, then because audit committee the only option we get now the other a wing of communication when are the administrative. So if they send the report back to the person we audit. If you audit me, you send me reports, what I will do? I will just keep if I see something and they will give me problem. But now we get audit committee, we can follow up on the reports and the way we guys and do councils.
So basically the whole idea about auditing gets for do, just like we make mention, gets for do with transparency and accountability, and I make possible they do audits. So far, how transparent this particular project don't be from all on don't they do on auditing process so far?
Well, we start because the audit committees we just established them is a process. So now the fact that we don't get independent committee, now we're not going to forgive so much of a tangible results, but we believe say going forward from this stage now we don't get the audit committees established. If I would even train them, we don't train the audit committee members on the rules, so they know what they for do. They don't hold the inaugural meetings where even the CAs and the councils will all be invited. They all did it. In fact, as we talk now, we even plan for all the second quarterly meeting. So if you talk about transparency, I think it's building up. Okay. It's building up because even the stakeholders and the council they know say now we get established audit committees and audit reports and get for the goodie.
Okay, so before I go to Paul, just quick one. Una just start like we see this particular department. Una just started. Una they try for enroll some certain things they una have for do for ensure transparency and accountability. But I want for let listener and viewers them and people that already listen we for tell we about the activities them una do implement so far as we for where they lead the internal audit department at the Ministry of Finance.
Okay, thank you. Since the inception of the project, I think we started implementing in 2022, Mr. Conte, if I miss the first activity will be implement now an awareness and a sensitization program to the local council, because that time they do build up for set up the audit committee. So we never go to the councils. In fact, we even go to all the radio stations. Most of the district there. Outside, we will go with a campaign, say, we will try for establish audit committees and local councils. We go comprise of independent members and we go want people and for send the CV them. That was the first activity. Then it was a positive because we get response from strong people then send the CV them. Then so we, now the directorate, now Ministry of Finance and to the council as well, we'll be able to look between the CV and they pick people and we get the right caliber. I mean, in terms of qualification and experience, all things say go serve na audit committee, and that was the success. Then inside 22 we get what we call a normal coaching and mentoring of internal auditors. As is another building capacity.
Okay.
Also we link to the component one skills and systems. We get coaching we call a one-to-one training. We senior members from the Ministry of Finance, they go now the councils, we shape we serve into teams. One team will go now, for example, McKinney City Council go and coach and mentor the auditor on a one-to-one basis. They take them through the audit process.
Okay.
That also was supported by the project. And then another thing we do when one of the mandates, because now we get the mandate for follow-up in inside section 75 as well, for follow-up on the external auditors' recommendations. So even though we are internal audit, we get a relationship with the external audit. So when the audit service report can come out, so we then find this, and we can go follow up for make sure the stakeholders or the one that we concerned with the report implement within the auditor general say, therefore implement. The project self support that they will do. We don't do that themselves. Then the training you have mentioned earlier, we just go train, then we internal auditor them. Because if we don't take like some 7-8 years, we'll do a training of that nature. Now be a previous project, World Bank project, we before this one, I we sponsor that one as well. So, and some of the guys that we've been trained, most of them we don't left, for better, all man is sick, for good. Yeah, so some we don't left, then we've been getting new one that will not be benefit from that training. So we get for do that training. And the approach of the training was very, very practical. I mean, hands-on training, we'll be getting guys there for do classwork. We focus on the audit cycle. We start from the planning stage to the field work, where the mandate and the field. The report writing, we learn how to write reports and how for even communicate the reports to management, and also how to follow up on the findings that we do inside the reports. So these are some of the activities that we don't actually do under the project.
Okay, viewers, the progress they watch, this is a special discussion hour where they come out from the Ministry of Finance, and we they talk about the accountable governance for basic service delivery project where the Ministry of Finance and then get this project here, so and our World Bank supports them, and this project they don't begin implement them from inside February 2022, and then they're about to close this program, so they can update the public but with it so far they don't do what they don't achieve so far. Continue for follow the program, like and self-share for be part of this program and self-support Liberty Online Television. I still get me studio guests them we come out from various departments now the Ministry of Finance where they talk about this particular project. I still get with me the Deputy Director, where the Deputy Director General, sorry about that, and the National Monitoring and Evaluation Agency serve there under the Ministry of Finance. Well, they are so for come and can talk about this project more. Well, and before we go, I talk to the other guests them. You be done, they make you points and you make mention about component 3. And looking at the component 3, they talk about integrated data management platform. Since this project, where the project don't start, we get for do with this component 3, especially we talk about. So you go on for throw lights more on component 3, we get for do with integrated data management.
Yeah, thank you very much. Well, before I do that, let me just make some clarifications.
Okay.
Make referencing from the Ministry of Finance.
Okay.
So we in our SME autonomous body,
okay.
Maybe briefly talk about the transition of what we call NAMIA today. I said back in 2018, a directorate was established where they put out under Ministry of Planning and Economic Development. In time, we moved to the office of the President, where as we speak, an act not be they were established with. As early as March this year, Parliament passed the act and the President accepted it. So a law they were established, the National Monitoring and Evaluation Agency, who key mandate enough for monitor all development interventions, including those funded by domestic sources and donor partners. So that will be broad mandate. But coming to this project. So again, we collaborate with entities like Ministry of Finance.
Okay.
When one of our key, And second clarification, or maybe like I want through, we will finally say both of we don't talk about monitoring, but just more we keep the listeners and viewers there into a clear perspective as to what this monitoring mean. audit will talk say with the monitor, now we go down for monitor. MPPA will talk say now we roll for monitor. NAMED, the overall government agency will for monitor, but specifically to development projects.
Okay.
And development project, which basically will follow the results. How them projects, every year government is spend billions. Yeah, donor funding is grown into millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars. Every year when they say they don't implement this, but we always say, well, they don't do this all these years. What is the result in the life of the people? Mm-hmm. So this agency really to ensure a track, it ensures a waiting project AC, it do na bunda P, yeah, in the life of the people. Not only say they don't build this road, but how they really reflect in the life of the people. When are the results monitoring? Result. We will come at outcome level, impact level, or output level. So basically, for many listeners, they clear about the various mandates and put it into perspective. But coming to component 3, like I mentioned, our focus on component 3 of this accountable governance. Part of it, now for, like you said, in the local councils, we get what they call M&E officers, monetary evaluation officers. We get what we call development planning officers. Yeah, we get what the related finance officers. We also they all lead to the execution of what they plan every year, where they translate into project or recurrent costs, but we focus on the project part, the development part. So we work with the actors that we have just made mention of, whether it's between the M&E officers or the development planning officers. We work with them for development system, for ensure data. It's very important for monitor and track service delivery. That data is generated, that data is there. But for more gather data, there has to be systems, there has to be procedures, there has to be frameworks. So what we don't do so far, we don't work with the local councils and the key commodity ministries that we deal with, Minister of Health and Minister of Basic and Senior Secondary School Education. Yeah, now that ministry then we work with, and then so we don't train, we don't develop systems. So for instance, we don't develop what they call monitor evaluation operational plan for local councils. Yeah, so basically what they do is that for tell we from A to Z how local councils they will monitor service delivery, including helping them develop tools. We don't work with them for how to communicate if they monitor the report, how they communicate that report, so that it will lead to M&E advocacy, it will lead to change. We don't also work with them work with non-state actors at the district level, at the local council level, for establishing what we call district monitoring committees. He spoke about the audit committees. We get what we call district monitoring committee. We comprise of people beyond the local council. It's comprised of people in a community, women's group, youth groups, traditional leaders. That one they work now for make sure, say, for instance, the physical structures that we the engineer talk about, for make sure, say, yes, if they say they build market, the non-state actors that they work with the local council members and for ensure that waiting and say, within this project, they say that they do that market, they don't build that. And that market it function, and that market it result into it reflect in the lives of the people.
Okay.
Going forward, we don't develop that. At the national level, we have what we call National Monetary Evaluation Management Information System, NAMEMIS. We don't find out say this is focused at the national level, but for more we ensure that it's it go down to the local level. We don't conceptualize one system what they call LUMEMIS. Local Council Monetary Evaluation Management Information System. So that one they basically now for make sure see the service the interventions the way they do at the local level. We'll be able to track data, we'll be able to collect data, we'll be able to monitor indicators, we'll be able to monitor output, we'll be able to monitor and put that into systems so that people that will access that system from anywhere as long as you get a mobile phone, you get a computer, you get a tablet. So basically that is it, that's how far we have gone. And you made mention of one thing. We started this project like everybody don't reckon. We started this project in 2022. We have it up to 2027. Okay. So we are not passive folding. You know, we did, let's say, halfway through. They just don't do the midterm evaluation. You know, so then they don't give you a lot of lessons. Where would you get from pick from and move forward? As we speak with the plan, with the bank and other actors for implement activities as we go forward.
Okay, so halfway through this particular project, and just from what you don't talk, the agency work on they look at results-based oriented things now they look at. So are you satisfied so far with this with the enrollment of this project, and how far then they now? From the monitoring, all one I don't do so far.
Well, so basically again. As a national entity, yes, this is a development project funded by World Bank. So it's our mandate to monitor it. But at the same time, we are also implementing agencies. Okay. So, as I say, they don't do just a midterm evaluation. Yeah? Every year, the bank they do what they call field mission. So there are findings to that. Like many other projects, you know, within at the national level, any project not in isolation, you know, not the same people that would implement. So yeah, we have gone so far. Disbursement don't go ahead. Activities that we don't plan, that would not be implemented. There could be challenges. Those challenges we could talk about, but the focus probably should not be on the challenges. The point is, are we on the trajectory to achieve the results we this project talk about? If you ask me, I think we are. I think we could do more, but yes, there are potentials for more to do more, and the focus should be to look at those challenges and have be identified in the midterm national evaluation that have been done for identifying those challenges and for address them, so that at the end of the day, the 40 million we government end up grants, not to actually loan, where they don't give we will make sure he achieve the results that we clearly identify in the project proposal document that we want to follow.
So just take me through some key preparatory activities they undertake leading to the first round of the grant circle.
Okay, again, my understanding, like we didn't focus on but I do have a broad understanding of the entire project. So the grants that like engineer we talk about, down the, I think the Ministry of Finance, where FGT, they call them the Fiscal Decentralization Department or unit, now they deal with that. So their idea ground a component too. When at the bulk of the project, it's about 20 million. And then for key grants to local councils. Every year they will come up criteria they need for identify those grants. So for example, it will be more buildings market, yeah, or this hospital, this children clinic in the dilapidate, more try for renovator, or this converts now this room, you know. So they identify those projects. The Ministry of Finance through the accountable governance, they give them money. Yes, they have done that. The engineer should be able to tell you how many of that have been implemented. Yeah. So and we also now for monitor how everybody going. Yeah, some challenges that we always did, but on a bigger scheme of things, I think there's a really positive progress on the implementation of those grants, and we will continue to monitor them. Yeah. But yes, to come to your question, yes, I think progress is. Yeah.
Okay, so over to you.
Maybe I should assist the director in that sense. Regarding the grants, we mentioned the project is about 40 million grant money. However, almost half of that amount goes to the grant which you're asking about. Of course, some form of it have gone to the Directorate for Data System and as well as the audit people. These people have their own chunk of that money. You understand? And all what they've said is like more of credit to the project itself, because what they are telling you now is not that they are going to monitor the project, just that, but the project has supported these activities.
Of course.
So what we have said is that the project have promoted all of these activities we've been talking about. So coming to the grant system, we have done a lot of activities regarding workshops and many training capacity building, you know, even in the form of as to which sub-project should be selected. We prioritize, we screen, and community participation is paramount. You know, the people must be reached, and the system is in place whereby nobody will just come and say, now this will take. It has to be participatory. You know, the community for select the project. That is the approach we are using.
Okay, so just quick one. You just don't talk about this particular grant. So part of that money, the way governments give, how much local council and benefits in round 1?
15 local councils, when are targeted as per the project plan, they all benefit.
So how much disposed to the 15 people in the 15 local council?
In round 1, we disposed about $1.6 million thereabouts in round 1. That was like 10% of the allocation for that round.
Okay, so then money then they will then dispose to them 50 local councils. Then they know what purpose?
So the purpose, like what we say, that one comes from component 2, the local development grant for the council. The purpose is to source or to support physical development of those projects selected by the community. Like you were saying, whether it's a PHU, health facility, it could be a school. For instance, we did 15 schools. We did about 9 PHUs and then 5 other public service facilities, infrastructure within those communities, the 15 districts.
So how successful them particular thing from the local council don't be in this round 1?
Well, after the implementation in round 1 or close to the implementation, a survey was done. A beneficiary satisfaction survey was carried out, and based on the report we get, we think it is very satisfactory because we have implemented. I may not be in the position to as well tell you that I am marking myself, but if you can get access to the survey, that should make it stronger that it was satisfactorily done.
So una get the conviction say this grant here don't be effectively implemented?
Yes, the fact that the survey was done by a third party, an external body, you know, a consultant to conduct and bring up the results, I think we are very satisfied. Not only that, the conditions that are placed that are guiding us, we have, in the course of implementation, we have manuals. For instance, the environmental and social commitment plan between the bank and the government of Sierra Leone have conditions to follow, which of course if we do not follow them, we would have been, you know, doing something wrongly. We have there is a part, of course, that there is the grant implementation manual that is between the project and the local councils, how these grants are to be carried out. And all of those conditions are being worked through in the course of implementation.
Okay, so how under the ministry, don't work with the agency for ensure say the local councils then they be monitored effectively and self-implement the this particular grants wanna get some of them in this round 1. The reason why I ask because a lot of support can go to local councils them. So man can say, well, me own council, we want green store, we want this. Maybe something they can ask for can be say not for that intended purpose they can use waiting and don't bid for where they can aim for support them. So in your situation with this particular grant, how don't monitor them and ensure say all waiting then go by be implemented with the support of the agency?
Very good questions. First of all, we've been talking about capacity building from the agencies themselves. Not only limited to the human capacity building, but physical provisions of equipment and things that will assist. Not only that, even as a project, the project management unit has its own monitoring and evaluation department headed by a specialist. In fact, this is one of the projects of the World Bank where we are even implementing what we call a GEM system. That is a geo-enabling monitoring system whereby I can be in Freetown, but I can get reports on ground from, even if I'm calling you from Benghazi in anywhere, you can be able to send me information, and the coordinates should be consistent because once you send, we're able to coordinate where you're sending that information from. And not only that, both this system and physical monitoring has been carried out.
Okay, now over to you, Mr. Internal Auditor. You just hear from waiting Sylvanus don't talk in terms of the grant and how they know they ensure say the local councils them the money they don't get they implement what they're supposed to do. Now as the internal audit now the Ministry of Finance, how now have done the work with the audit committee in the councils to ensure say transparency and accountability when are the key of the auditing happening with all in grants here as part of this particular project?
Yeah, like the engineer said, as the deputy director general said, a lot don't go into the councils. So that's the reason why, as we own component today, and for capacity building, so that's why we campaign for strengthening the internal auditors. Even some of the monies that they already go into the council for make sure say they included inside the annual work plan. We're able to call it the audit universe. You know, when they choose the auditable areas, they make sure that they choose the specific areas and they like the deputy director general really talk about giving examples of building a market, some of we give them advice and strengthen them for conduct review, and even carry out maybe special investigations on some of the project that they for make sure say them be carry out them successfully, even though NAMI herself they do their own. So at least we self can get we own aside for make sure say we self meet we own mandates for make sure say there is transparency and accountability in handling those funds where the project is sent at the council. Okay,
so apart from this, just take me through and tell me some of our function and self on our impact as a function in audit committee. Now this particular committee will then set up under this particular project.
So like I said earlier, before, in the absence of the audit committee, even though these guys are the internal auditors would have written, find reports that we will get good recommendation and things that we will bring improvements, because their audit report they're all tied up to improving controls. For any time we audit or pull reports and make recommendation, if management implement the recommendation, then they strengthen the controls. If they avoid them, then the controls just become weakened. They weaken in the sense that transparency and accountability, become very poor. So, like I said, in the absence, the auditor them is trained before, because the report they go back to the possible audit. So one of the impacts now, the audit committees are there to receive the report where the auditor writes and go even they get the power and they're able to take up to management. They get specific function the way you will find in section 152 now the Public Financial Management Regulations of 2018. The auditor they get power for also follow up on some of them outstanding, because even the external auditors the way they come in, they can cover some of them then with the project self sponsor. It can fall under the audits. So if the auditor then they make a recommendation, if an independent body know they like an audit committee for take then issue the day up and make sure say management implement the recommendation it's a problem.
So within the status of the internal audit na the committee set up na the local council under this particular project.
The audit. So right now they're not formed already. They're not all first meeting. So also we did now for all the second. The first meeting was inaugural meeting, kind of for selling the committee. Say we don't get an audit committee now, we don't come for stay, and we come for look into audit report. So now the status now for all the second meeting, and that second meeting they even tied to the project. I think they get I think around 2 of the grants. Right. So that now for see the kind, the transparency and accountability with the work on the project. They even don't say until the audit committee they meet, they not will release I think around 2 of the grants. The engineer there for correcting, but I think that. So right now as we talk, by next week then second rounds of meeting and they for take off with the audit committee. And this time it's not an inaugural, this is now for going to reports now. Both internal audit reports and external audit. We look into the report and make sure so we follow up to the letter. So that's where we are.
So go back to you, Mr. Deputy Director General. So far with regards to this project in this round one, how you go rate especially this grant disbursement to the local council layer in terms of doing their development and program na them particular councils then?
I think my view might be in line, in tangent with within the bank last mission. I think it's moderately satisfactory. That's it. Because like I said, as I've said before, challenges every day. But based on our view and the view of the last mission and the midterm evaluation report, I think it's moderately satisfactory. And generally, the project itself is moderately satisfactory.
So what are some of the challenges encountered during this particular project?
Well, and without blaming any actor, I would just speak directly to the issues of the challenges. What would be, when a perennial problem, challenge across disbursement, and depending on which side of the lens you map, you can say, oh yeah, now the capacity for absorb and now the issue. Now the bureaucracy with two bakuna the bank between the bank and now the issue. But the bottom line is that's a key issue which we for address. Another is I think we could be most times when these grants or projects for even startup again linked to the bureaucracies accountability issues it will drag for start, and when it start again for say my understanding or my view is that for an activity, an average time that is spent to every plan for an activity to be implemented might run between any time between 3 months to 6 months. Fact. Yeah. So if we are talking about a grant of 40 million for 5 years period, so we expect say 5 years period for use at least 8 million per year. Yeah. For MEDA, just even looking at the output level, for more able to see their activity they would not plan. But because of them challenges there, I might be wrong on this figure, but I think we have not disbursed, they have not disbursed or used up to 30% of the grant. Yeah. So which means we get either we really get for fast track and for able to use that money, otherwise it will come down to the always talk about absorptibility, we will not get the absorptive capacity for use of that money or so basically those are the key challenges here.
Okay, so most importantly, we will talk about that component 3, we get for do that database management system and all we nadina on own key focus. So we go just one for let you tell viewers the waiting at the current status of the database management system where they for monitor the free health care drug and self-learning materials then.
Okay, so I think I made reference to where we talk. There is a national platform, who call NAMEMIS, National Monitoring and Evaluation Management Information System. So we've done a web-based, platform. We will put all projects. Let's say this year there are about 230 projects in what we call the Public Investments Program. Where every year now the budget we get that one day, So each of those projects will get, depending on which MDA, they will say, okay, we'll get this project when strengthening the health system. Yeah? And that strengthening the health system, say, we want to make sure, say, all the district councils, they get PHUs equipped with medical staff. So you get a project document where they describe that one. Ideally, all projects will get that project document. Yeah? Not all can get them though. And that some of the system will work on, like for example, creation of this amendment, so that we'll make sure that whether most donor funded project they get that project document. Well, the challenges around such projects or such document being developed for domestically funded projects. So this system they help for create what we call project profile, if not a full-blown proposal, but we what we call project profile. So all MBAs is mandatory now, and this with the support of the Ministry of Finance. Mandatory. There is no way your project will be funded if you don't get project profile submitted to Ministry of Planning and Economic Development, copy to NAMIA. There's no way your project will be funded if it is not uploaded on NAMEMIS. Because we want for tracker, and the easiest way, the most efficient way for track, then development intervention. Now where you will able to do you watch it. This is not the vogue, not the new thing, not the Now the technology that one day, you know. So every system, every MD or every of their intervention, what they do, forget some elements of technology, digital platform, you know, so that I will get me phone. I see, inside this project, they talk about when you open a normal, we will tell you how many projects in Pujon district or Cambia district. If you tick on it, we will tell you how much that project they cost. If you tick on it further, it will tell you how many activities that they don't implement for that project. So whether you are HE will access the one day. Yeah. A development planning officer na Moemba district will able access the one day. And M&E, a PS na Ministry of Education will able access the one day.
Okay.
Yeah. So you get all these layer of players who will be able access that data day. And with time, public will able hold those people, hold them accountable. Yeah. Because if you don't say they do 5 activities at this cost, then after 10 years we'll go there, or after 5 years, 4 years we'll go there, only one activity, that will be a point for accountability.
So round 1 enrollment though already done, we go start round 2 enrollment. So waiting the agency in pending activity as we try for wrap up with this edition of the discussion. Okay, so like I've been saying, we get the national level platform. So we like you know, up to this morning we will talk with the bank, with the World Bank from, you know. So the next level now for really create this system for cater at the national level. You know, there's a whole lot of supply chain thing when you talk about textbook and teaching and learning materials or medical supplies and equipment. There's a supply chain element to it. We're going to be different from the traditional development project. So we capture that, we don't do what we call a process mapping, we don't do the M&E operational plan, we use those tools that we have developed, we create it into a digital form. So in the next 1 month, or by the end of December, by the end of this year, we don't create that local council monitor evaluation management information system. We'll create that, and the next level will be for collect data, analyze, track, and report. So for instance, if we know, say, government this year don't spend like 3-4 million for buy free health, you know, equipment and medical supplies. Yeah? We duty that system for track down and make sure say when the supply, they don't supply now, like you don't reach the medical store or whatever we call. We track them down. That when they don't say, you know, they don't need let's say tetracycline or Panadol, it will go now PHU 5. We make sure say it did it. That system, if we develop it, will ensure say you will able to go now. Yeah, that 5 cartons of Panadol where they don't send to PHU na Bumpe. You know, after 2 days, you don't reach there. Okay.
Go with. Yeah. So basically, done at the way forward and done at the next step we will work on.
Okay, so over to Sylvester, the wrap up with this edition of the discussion. Waiting will be on our next step as soon as they're about to enroll round 2 of this particular project.
Yes. So basically, we are effectively and very much pushing round 2 now for the grant cycle, whereby we've been able to identify it, prioritize, and cost the project then for this round from the grant. And we are looking at like 33 physical projects to be carried out, among which we may be having 15 schools, and then about 13 PHUs, and then about 5 other public service infrastructures such as markets and guest houses and other things. So these facilities are, in fact, at this stage, what we've decided is to carry out a minimum standard approach. At round 1, we are random at some points, considering we are starting maybe a pilot approach, but here now that we've understood some dynamics, we have patterned the grant system such that we're able to meet certain minimum conditions for this project, such as lighting system, wash facility, and then even furniture, for instance, and in some cases, quarter. In fact, for all health facilities, we provide quarters for the medical staff. Whereas in round 1, we did not, take that into consideration. So hopefully, as I'm speaking, we'll expect procurement for even start now. Tender notices are out, which will be done by the councils, not the project, not the PMU, but councils. Most councils have done their tender notice and publicizing the work for civil bidding and then for award contracts for a 6-period implementation timeline.
Okay, well, now over to you as we try for wrap up this particular edition as the internal committee under this particular project. Waiting on some of the activities and waiting next as then about for enroll round 2.
Okay, well, we still get some outstanding activities with the project because, of course, every year you submit your annual work plan with the activities that you want to do. I think we get about 5, and I don't name the one that we don't do. Still get about 2 way. Still linked to the component 1 way on building capacity. Of course, the internal audits globally is being we get the Institute of Internal Auditors. We're in the Institute of Internal Auditors. They control the internal audit world. If I may say, then get an exams we then call the certified internal auditor. Like the accountant, then will get the professional course in the ACCA. So I think we will make a proposal to the project as one of the activity for get to guys and for enroll into the exams. When at 9 from central governments, we do the CIA, then the internal auditors and the local council will be saying for them 4 of them for do the certified fraud examiner exam. So we will help them also in the audit process. That's one of the ones that we are outstanding. Then we'll get another one, the internal audit manual. Like we in a central government, we get a manual with a guide, we guide them as to how they for carry out the audit procedure. And they make it easy for them. So then they can even they read the manual they carry out to you. Because they tell you how you for audit all the different areas. How you audit procurement, how you audit, you get all the procedures.
Okay.
So the local council themselves, they get one, but because new standards now don't come into being, so we need for change so that the new manual will reflect the new standard. Now a proposal also put to the project, but I think it is now procurement stage now.
Okay. Well, plenty thank you when I don't join me inside the studio this morning. Viewers, this is a special hour who comes from the Ministry of Finance. We will do the discussion on the accountable governance for basic service delivery project under the Ministry of Finance. Well, this is a project where they don't start for enrollam inside February 2022, and they don't know on one of these projects now. Then they're about to embark round 2, where they don't can talk. If you don't follow, you go listen about how this project get for benefits local councils them now different community, especially campaign health and safe education. So that some of the updates and they don't give at the studio today. I began me guess them. We come out at Ministry of Finance and said now the National Monitoring and Evaluation Agency, USAID.